All right, this is the Calgary Real Estate Market update for July 2022. We are going to do this update a little bit differently. We've taken all the frequently asked questions we're getting straight from our clients, which are buyers, sellers, and investors, and we compiled them to provide advice for each of you guys. So these are questions that's going to be like, how much over list price would we have to pay for a house? Are we still going into multiple offers? What is going on with the Calgary house prices? Are house prices dropping? Is it a good time to do a flip in Calgary? And how much value does a legal basement suite in Calgary add to your property? All this and more coming up. Welcome guys, my name is Jasmine Lai, realtor with the LiveInnerCity real estate team in Calgary, Alberta. At the very end of this video, I'll provide the market stats. So let's get started. All right, let's start with a summary of what happened in June. The Bank of Canada raised interest rates on June 1st, and they were expected to raise again up to 75 basis points this month on July 13th. This will affect buyers looking to get a variable rate mortgage or home equity line of credit. But fixed rates have also been climbing. A 5-year fixed rate for a mortgage will now be hovering around 5% or above. If you're interested in knowing where interest rates are going and how to predict the trend, my business partner Felix Chan, who is a mortgage broker, just released a video about mortgage rates, so check it out here. Everyone who qualifies for a mortgage in Canada must go through a stress test. Because rates are high, the stress test requires a higher rate to qualify at, bringing down the mortgage amount that people can get. As always, make sure you get a pre-approval done now so you can lock in your interest rate up to 120 days. A lot of people ask us, what happens if my mortgage pre-approval rate expires? If that happens, then your mortgage broker would need to reset the rate, and you'll get the rate that is happening right now, which would probably qualify you for a smaller mortgage since rates have been continuing to rise. Okay, let's give you some advice for buyers. Are we still going into multiple offers these days? Buyers are still going through multiple offers in specific communities and for specific properties. For example, people looking for a bungalow in Dalhousie, Brentwood, Silver Springs areas with a budget of around $600K are still experiencing multiple offers. Remember, homes of value and are desirable normally sell no matter what the market conditions are like. So having a winning strategy is still very important. Contact us through the link in the description below if you want to learn more about how. While earlier this year we were sometimes seeing 10 plus offers on some homes, we're now experiencing usually less than 5, if any, multiple offers at all. How much over list price would a buyer need to pay to get a house these days? That depends on the area and type of house, but as previously mentioned, we're starting to see less urgency in the market, which is resulting in less multiple offers. So you can get a home for less than list price normally these days. Homes are now typically selling within 2.5 to 3% of list price if it's priced at market expectations. Buyers are feeling like they have more negotiating power because the market is slowing down, but it's still a seller's market in some parts of the city. What is a purchase plus improvements mortgage? Since home prices have been increasing, buyers are finding homes that are not updated or as new as they want it to be, and as a result, they need to do some renovations. Little do people know they can take advantage of the Purchase Plus Improvements mortgage program. How this program works is you need to get quotes in writing from a company with the home renovations you want to do. Let's say that's $20,000. When you take possession, you would complete the renovations with your own money first, and then the bank would send an appraiser to confirm that the work is done, and your lawyer would then release the $20,000 back to you. Here's a tip to make things go smoother when you're using this program. Get your Purchase Plus Improvement quotes and approval at the same time you apply for your primary mortgage on the property. We had a buyer who did not do this, and 1 week before possession, they asked for another 2-week extension, which we did allow on one of our listings, but also negotiated some terms off of this contract. So do this properly and you will not have to pay for this mistake. What is a homeowner association fee or HOA fee, and why is it important? There was an article that came out last month about a law firm sending out letters to homeowners in the Northwest Calgary community of Sage Hill, demanding hundreds of dollars in homeowner association fees or HOA fees and legal fees. To give some context, HOA fees are to maintain common spaces in the community at a level above and beyond the standard of service provided by the City of Calgary. This can include community flowers, nicer road signs, stormwater ponds, landscaping, maintenance, and more. I'll leave you a link to this article, but the article says that only 500 of the 1,700 homeowners had paid their fees, and the letters went out to 360 homeowners who have not paid their bills for multiple years. I bring this up because it's your responsibility as a homeowner to make good on this obligation. Buying into a community with the HOA fee, you're typically buying into a nicer Calgary community because the standards are higher, which is why the HOA fee is charged. There's no way that you wouldn't know about the HOA fee in the community you are buying into. Your realtor would have told you, or if you're buying brand new, then the builder should have told you as well. And your lawyer would have mentioned that you also have this obligation to pay this fee when it's registered on the title of your home. In Calgary, the HOA fee typically isn't more than a few $100s a year, so make sure you pay it because you may get served a notice from a law firm, which you don't want to have. All right, here's the advice for sellers. What is going on with the Calgary house prices, and are house prices dropping in Calgary? To answer this one, sales have slowed down, but prices are up compared to the same time last year. And across all property types, we saw a year-over-year benchmark price increase of over 13%. But the quick answer is we are seeing some more price adjustments on active properties that are still for sale. Some of these homes were priced too high to begin with. Some of these homes are adjusting to the lower sales in their area, or following the trend of recently sold properties in their area that the price has come down a little bit. If a buyer waived conditions and they want to change something to the contract like the possession date, do I, as a seller, have to comply? Well, the first thing is we have to find out why do they need this. There's two scenarios. Things that are outside the buyer's control are happening, or things are within the buyer's control are happening. For example, if it's because of financing and it's because the buyer submitted their application late, this was well within their control and you can make them pay because they weren't on the ball. Plus, you may incur another mortgage payment while you're still holding the property, and that causes you inconvenience. So in this instance, I would personally ask for a few $1,000s added to the purchase price, and I guess the buyer will have to learn their lesson that way. Here's an example of something that's happening that's not within the buyer's control, such as a death in the family and they cannot move to the city, and then it's up to you to be lenient or not, but give them the benefit of the doubt. Remember, they are still legally bound and must perform on the contract, and if the buyer has already waived conditions, the leverage is in your hands. If we're talking about delayed possession, ask for more money or negotiate on eliminating terms like cleaning or when you originally promised to fix something so that you're at least getting something for it. But of course, as always, when it's not within the buyer's control, we do want to remain human and try to help people out. Here's our advice for investors. Is it a good time to do a flip in Calgary? We would say that there is more risk now and going into the next quarter than there was at the beginning of this year. We are still in uncertain times with high interest rates, higher qualifying stress test rate, sales slowing down, inflation, stock and crypto market not doing so hot, which could affect the down payment for people, and supply chain issues. As well, the price of acquisition for homes is much higher right now. You got to really know your numbers like mortgage costs, renovation costs, the margins of safely being able to do the flip properly. Make sure you build into your numbers a financial buffer because things could still change when you're holding on to the property and still doing your renovations before you bring it back to market to sell. Having a set criteria so you wouldn't do more renovations than you have originally planned. If you're planning a flip project as a first-time flipper, I would advise that you start on a smaller project first because then your project time is not going to take as long as the big projects are a full gut job that will take several months, in which the market could change during that time. The last thing for flips is make sure you have a backup plan. What if you can't sell the property for what you thought you were going to sell for, and you won't be able to recoup your costs back and you end up losing money? So the only other way is plan to buy and hold that property for several months, if not a couple years, and see where the numbers lie in terms of having it as a rental investment so you can keep it in your portfolio. If you cash flow, great. If you're slightly negative, you still might be great because we might be in for some appreciation down the road. And if you don't cash flow or are slightly negative, you might still be in good shape because properties might appreciate in the future. How much value does having a legal basement suite in Calgary add to your property? Currently, appraisers are adjusting anywhere from $40,000 to $60,000 for a legal up-down suite. For example, a bungalow. What is the City of Calgary Secondary Suites Grant Program? It is a city initiative to convert illegal suites into legal suites, making them much safer for tenants. By the way, if you want to see a video on how we help clients to convert their basement to a legal suite, check out the video here. A suite is a self-contained residence with 2 or more rooms and includes a kitchen, living, sleeping, and sanitary facilities. All secondary suites must have bedroom with proper egress windows, a separate bathroom, separate cooking facilities, an entrance that is accessible from the outside without passing through the main dwelling unit. A shared stairwell is acceptable, but each unit must have a private entrance. Right now, as it stands, you have until December 31st, 2023 to legalize your basement suite. After this date, the requirements will be much more and will cost you more money. All right, let's get right into the market analysis and the statistics. Sales. For detached homes, we saw an 18% less in sales. Semi-detached, we saw 8% decrease. In row townhouses, 35% increase, and apartments saw a 31% gain. All right, pricing. For price, we're using average price, and these are year-over-year stats. For detached homes, we saw a 14% increase, and this was to $667,000. For semi-detached, we saw a 6.3% increase to $541,000. Row townhouses, 2.7% increase to $353,000. Apartments were up by 8.7%, and this brought it to $279,000. And here's months of supply. Basically, months of supply is using last month's sales volume or sales pace. How many months would it take to sell all the active inventory, assuming that no new listings are placed on the market? This helps us to understand if we're in a buyer's, seller's, or a balanced market. And just as a reminder, in Calgary, when it's between 2.5 and 4 months, we're in a balanced market. Under 2.5 months, we're in a seller's market. Over 4 months, we're in a buyer's market. For detached homes, we were hovering around the same at 1.8 months. Semi-detached was down 24%, and that's now at 1.85 months. Row townhouses were down 46%, and this is a great sign because we're now at 1.44 months. Apartments down 40%, also great. This brings us down to 2.63 months. Now to wrap everything up for you today. If you're a homeowner of a row townhouse and or apartments, you should look at selling now because the stats are telling us that it's the strongest property type from last month's stats. And this might actually lose steam over the next couple months. Despite all the doom and gloom, inflation, high interest rates, the war, and everything that's happening around us, including Vancouver and Toronto housing markets dropping drastically in sales, we are still in the seller's market for all property types, except for apartments, though they are right in between a balanced market and a seller's market. And if you're a buyer, yes, prices are going down slightly right now. Now, a lot of buyers have been asking me, should I wait? It really is dependent on you and what your timing needs to look like. However, it's our team's prediction that we're not really going to see prices drop below pre-pandemic levels. And it's important to remember that it's very hard to time the market. There's so many economic factors, both micro and macro, that affect home prices. There are leading and lagging indicators that affect it. Because if one thing happens and let's just say prices shoot up even higher than where they are right now, where will that lead you? I mean, that's a very extreme case. Now, something would have to happen drastically for that to happen, but I'm just giving you a little bit of context there. If you're a seller and you need to sell, don't get discouraged by seeing prices drop or price adjustments happening in your area. And for investors, the city is still having their population growing because now Toronto and Vancouver are still remaining quite high on cost of living. We're still seeing an influx of people coming from there, personally in our client base. And cost of living has increased in this inflationary period in Calgary, but hasn't increased to the point where other major cities are. Remember, Calgary is the third largest metropolis city in Canada, and it's a great place to live. If you are looking to move to Calgary, you can check out several of our resources, which I'll leave in the description below for you to really plan your move. And please reach out to us if you have any questions. Thank you for watching today. Did you like the new format for the market update? Because we've been trying to really work on making it the most relevant and valuable for you. We would love to hear what you thought about it. Please put your comments in the section below. As always, we really appreciate every like and subscription that we get to our channel, so please do so. My name is Jasmine Lai with the LiveInnerCity Real Estate team, helping you keep real estate simple. We'll see you in the next one.